babe. Oh, wow. I don't think this has even been used. Oh my God. Look at the size of that. Okay, scrappers, thought I'd do another installment of my interesting e-waste items that I get from pickups. This one is a little bit different because instead of an accumulation of oddball interesting stuff, it's actually just from one pickup. And this place here that I pick up from, it's a small construction company and they always give me really interesting stuff. So I thought, oh well, I might as well make a little video on the pickup that I did from him today. I actually went to the scrapyard and dropped off a whole bunch of scrap steel and some motors and batteries. And on the way back, I've done this pickup, and yeah, so I thought I'd show you a little bit, you know, just all the interesting things that I pick up just from one place. And yeah, this is a really good client of mine. He's a really nice bloke and always looks after me and always puts in good stuff. You know, I always get power tools. Because they're a construction company, I always get good power tools, and I've gotten some really great tools from this guy. And you know, so they're not obviously in perfect condition, they're probably a little bit worn out. Sometimes I've got broken items, but a lot of times I get really good stuff. So I just wanted to do a little video on interesting scrap items, and this time just from one pickup, and just give you a little look. You know, it's nothing spectacular, but it's you know, I think it's a little bit of fun just to look through all different kinds of scrap and e-waste that I can pick up just from one place. There's 3 steel bins of all different mixed metals, so I'm going to have to go through all that with a magnet and, you know, get out any aluminium and stuff like that. And there's just regular e-waste as well, like DVD player and a vacuum cleaner and stuff like that. But there's some scrap steel, but there's some good items that I just wanted to quickly show you and you know, just pass the time a little bit. You know, like even this bag here, it's just all electrical wire. You know, good grade wire that can you know, might even be worth stripping this stuff. And these things here, these are like industrial factory lights, so they don't have the shields. But if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I done a street scrap and I actually picked up those aluminium housings. Now they might not fit these, but I reckon I'll be able to you know, mount them on somehow, and these would be good for a large garage or something like that, because they're not hardwired. They're actually got their own power cord, so a really easy thing to set up. So I might only want a couple of lights going on at any one time, and I can just turn them on. And I'd imagine they'd still work. This one here looks like the more heavy duty one. It's got the ceramic housing and a large globe. These ones here are just a plastic housing and a smaller globe, so it might be a little bit cheaper to run these, but there's a few of them in there. So I'll take everything out and I'll separate all the scrap steel and stuff like that, and I'll give you a look at some of the more interesting stuff that we've got. Like even here, I've got 3 boxes, and they're actually vents for doors or walls. So they're brand new, and yeah, just really nice vents. And you know, this kind of stuff could be put into a, you know, in a garage or something. You want some ventilation. You know, later on when I'm doing melting copper and stuff, it might be sort of semi indoors, so I might be able to use, you know, mount these into the wall and use them as secure ventilation. Yeah, just oddball stuff. Quite a few good power tools. I noticed there's a nail gun, and I've picked up nail guns off this guy before, and they've been really good. What's this? This looks like a power tool. This Metabo. So made in Germany. Okay, well that's a good start. All right, well That looks fantastic alone. I mean, that looks like a big hammer drill or something like that. And look at the size of these drill bits. It's got all kinds. So, wow, you know. So even these drill bits alone are, you know, they're worth a few bucks each. And you know, if you need something like that, they cost quite a lot of money. So even though they're probably, you know, slightly worn, really good. And this looks like a really good drill, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all the power tools and I'll set them up on the table out in the back, and I'll connect them all up and see if they actually work. And that will allow me to sort them out into what works and what doesn't, what I can scrap out and what to keep. But that alone, if that works, I reckon that's worth quite a bit of money. You know, at least a couple $100, and a few other bits and pieces. So yeah, I'll just take it all out and separate the good stuff, and I'll give you a little look. Okay, well, that was a bit of a job getting it all out. So this looks like it's all the power tools and anything kind of interesting that can have a look at. Down there we've got the 3 vents and also that bag of cable and stuff like that. Down here we've got the 3 bins of steel and aluminium that I need to sort through. So that'll take me a bit. I'm actually, because I've got to do this first because I've got to drop the bins back off. Because he needs the bins to throw more stuff in. So, but there's quite a bit of extruded aluminium and some stuff that might need a bit of cleaning up. But yeah, really good there. So I'm going to go have a quick look at what we actually got. And there's also this big pole thing, right? So it's got a nice stand and it's quite strong. It's about it's 7 foot tall. So I'm just going to keep that because it just might come in handy for one of those things, you know. And those 3 boxes I'll leave at the end. One's actually empty, but 2 of them are heavy. So I think that would probably be the most interesting things. So I'm looking forward to them 2, that's for sure. But first I just want to get through all this, and I need to test a few out. Some things I'm not going to bother testing out, like... Okay, we'll just make a quick start. Like, say, these old drills, they're really ratty and old, and you know, they're just so worn out, and just everything's a bit tight and crappy. So I'm not going to bother with these drills. I get a lot of drills, so I use cordless drills these days. So yeah, well, there's a couple of them anyway, and they're old, but they're not old enough to sort of be vintage kind of drills, so they'll just go to scrap. This sander I'm going to test out to see if it works, and the jigsaw here, if that works, I'll keep that. And here's an old jigsaw. Not sure what the model was, but or the brand, but it's oh, here we go. It's a Makita. So it was a good jigsaw back in its day. This one I might just keep as, you know, for one of my vintage tools collection. So this is, you know, it's not the oldest jigsaw. I've even got hand operated jigsaws, but this is, you know, what I sort of consider semi-vintage. And clean this up with brush and clean it all up, it'll look okay. And I like them when they look like they've been well used. And this will go into my collection, so I'm not even going to bother testing this. I'm just going to put this into my old tool collection. And yeah, so I will test out this other jigsaw and this sander. This, it looks like a plane. Yeah, it's an old plane. So I might actually test this out too, because even if it does kind of work, just even okay, it's a sort of thing that you know, how often do you need a plane? You know, I'm not a carpenter or anything, but the one odd chance I need a plane, you know, it's probably worth keeping for that instead of having to go and buy one. So that's 3 items I'm going to test so far. And also got a nice Ryobi, you know, sort of like, it's probably a hammer drill. Yeah, it looks okay. I mean, they're not really, you know, I think they used this on probably a couple of jobs and it's done its job. But I will test it out. If it works, I'll keep this. It might come in handy for just odd jobs that you don't want to use a good tool. You just want to, you know, run the tool into the ground. So they're the first 4 things I'm going to test. Once I get rid of them, I'll have a bit more room to have a look at the stuff in boxes. Oh, but there's 2 more things. Some of you might be familiar with the Passload nail guns. Now I think this is a newer, more of a newer model. I know that in the same color, the older versions, there's a lot of builders that actually like the older versions better than the new ones, and you can get pretty good money for the old ones. Not the real old, just they have to be the same color, but they're a little bit different. They're a lot heavier than this. See, it's still got nails in it, and but I did ask him about this, and he said no, it's no good. So and I don't even think this would be good for parts. But I did get a vintage Passload off him. Now it's still a Passload, so this is really old, and I love it. I think I've actually got another version of a similar kind of gun in my collection already, but because this one's still got this main cartridge here, which the other ones that I've got doesn't have this, so I really like this and cleaned this up, and it's just going to be a really nice vintage tool to hang up. I don't know if I've ever mentioned, but one day when I have my country property, in my main workshop, I want one wall where I've got all my vintage tools on display. So it's just going to be a massive wall with all old tools, old school, but they've got to be vintage like that. They're not just sort of, not tools from like the 80s and 90s, but stuff from the 70s and stuff mostly. Or if it looks really ancient like that, that's the kind of thing I like. All right, so I'll get rid of this. I'll put this in my collection. This I'll probably scrap. I might keep it for a little while and just ask someone if they want this for parts, because, you know, they might have a broken back casing here or something that they might want to replace. But other than that, I'll just test these few items and we'll go on to the more interesting stuff. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to test out was this sander and see if this actually works. So there's no on and off switch by the looks of it, or it might be, yeah, I'm not sure if there's an on and off switch, so it'll probably just turn on if it does work. Okay, I found the on-off switch. Yeah, so there we go. It's a filtration one, so it's got a filter on it that you can empty, so that's really good. That's good enough for me. Obviously, it's not, you know, a lot of these power tools I'm not interested in selling. You know, unless I've got, you know, many of them, but, you know, it's just a handy little sander. Actually, you remember that desk that I picked up at in the street pickup a couple of weeks ago, and I said I'm going to sand it all back? Well, there you go. I've got a sander for it now. So that's first item, works, bonus. Second item, let's see if this big drill works. and hammer. It actually I'm happy with that too. Wow. Second tool we tried, it works. All right. Well, now we're in business. So it looks like this pickup might be even better than first expected. So we've got this Jigsaw. It's a Metabo, so I think Metabo is a good brand. STE 70. Yeah, so what we got? Yep, I'm pretty sure it's Metabo is German, so wow, that's 3 out of 3. Again, it's I don't have a good one like this, you know, so this is going to, you know, do the job for me. Wow. So, you know, the part-time business that I had, eWaste recycling, it's obviously all about recycling eWaste, but you know, you get good pickups like this, interesting pickups that can actually work out to be worth, you know, much more than actually trying to recycle. Okay, so we've got a wheel under there. Wow. And it actually, the motor feels quite tight on this, so obviously it looks like it's missing a filter adaptation here, you know, but might be able to rig something up. Because I don't have one, and I'd have to look up how to actually use it, because I'm not sure. Oh yeah, okay, so something, okay, so it's got little blades sort of stuck in there. Oh, okay, and so you can adjust these blades or put in new blades, and it just spins around. That sort of slides back when you probably can't tell, you know, just hearing it, but it actually feels and sounds like a, you know, it's really good motor in it. You know, it's a Bosch, okay brand, but it just feels better than expected. And so yeah, I'd have to work out all the different adjustments, but a plane, I'd never buy one of these, you know, because I don't think I'll ever get to use it, but you never know, one day I might have to plane something down in the country property, no doubt. Well, that's the just the junky kind of power tool. So hopefully we get some even better stuff. Well, this one looks interesting. Hitachi. It's pretty heavy, and a lot of these things are very dusty because it's all sawdust from because where I pick it up from, it's a workshop, so obviously they build up so it's one of the dustiest places I pick up from. Everything is covered in it, but it's only sawdust. And all right, let's have a look. It's like opening up a Christmas present. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. It's like a, you know, kind of like a saw. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's got different saws and stuff. But it doesn't look the best inside here. It looks like it's sort of like chewed out. So, no, this is one tool that I think has had just, it's a saber saw. So I think it's just had too much use for it to be any good. And I'm not sure if I'd even trust it, to be honest. But geez, but one of the 12-inch saw, oh, there's 5 blades, cost 48 bucks. So I think it's these. Yeah, it is. So these are worth $10 each. But I can see this has been chewed up. So they, you know, they've certainly got their use. And remember, this is from a commercial kind of place. So, and you also got to look at health and safety, you know, like, and the reason why, but it just doesn't. Yeah, I think the whole guts in here is dud. So I'm not going to bother with this one. Because I don't want to try and power it on, because, you know, this looks a little bit too dodgy for me. But I do have a mate that's, you know, into power tools a lot, and he might want to play with it. So I'll give someone a look at this. Let them muck around with it, and if they want it they can have it, otherwise I'll just recycle it. Okay, so that's out the way anyway. Now here's a box. It's not very heavy. Wonder what that is. Are we let me get a bit closer. Okay. Okay. Oh, this looks cute. It's got a tripod. That's interesting. Nice tripod. It looks like it still works fine. It's got a very big thread on it, so it's certainly not camera. Oh, you wouldn't believe it, but I'm in the process of making a melting copper video, and I needed a level, and I was just about to go and buy. I need a short one like this. I've got really long ones, but I don't have small ones. But this is a laser level. Okay, so I no doubt it would still work as a regular level, and this is all. It was exactly what you wouldn't believe. It was just yesterday that I was you know, I was busy melting copper, so I didn't have time to go out and buy one, but it was on my shopping list to go and buy one. So it's just amazing how it works out. And even those lights, you know how last week I picked up those light shades to fit the industrial lights. Now I've got the lights. I just don't understand how things work like that. Okay, well, this is a little bit too technical for me. I'm not going to obviously know how to use this kind of stuff and getting all these different degrees and, you know, this level up here. But yeah, apparently it's a laser level. And obviously this goes onto the tripod, and then this might go in here somehow or something. I'm not sure how it all works. It's interesting. Again, it's not the sort of thing that I would sell, because it might just come in handy one day, and obviously I'll just use this level as it is, and at least now I know that, you know, if I'm ever putting something together, building something, looks like little dials, but wow. There you go. Got little glass windows, plastic windows. Oh well, it's all in a case. That's interesting, eh? All right. Remember that Metabo Big Drill? This is, I even like the color of the box. Yeah, this looks great. If this works, I'm going to be pretty happy, because, you know, this will go into my prime tool collection, you know, like my real, you know, workman tools. And no doubt I'll put it to good use, but we've got to see if it works. Surely it's going to work. Come on. Oh yeah. Okay. It doesn't seem to be spinning as fast as a normal drill, but maybe that's how it works. Wow. I'm going to even look this up to see what it maybe have costed. Metabo BE628. But this is a good one. I mean, this could probably even sell if it's a you know, really good model, especially being in the box and having such an awesome collection of different bits. Wow, you know, pretty much every size you could want, and a few more. Yep, same kind of deal. So wow, so obviously, you know, they're builders and carpenters, so obviously they're using this to drill into, you know, to make holes for in timber, you know. But, wow, that you know, it was just, this alone is just worth the whole pickup, I reckon. Wow. So this is what I mean by interesting scrap, where I could just spend hours just looking at this stuff and fiddling around with it, you know, and I'm not thinking about recycling at all. I'm thinking about really good additions to my workshop. So yep, definitely made in Germany. Wow, this goes into my prime tool collection, this. All right, well, I'm spoilt, but we'll see what this next thing is. It's pretty heavy for the size. Looks like spade. Oh, wow. I don't think this has even been used. Oh my God, look at the size of that. I think I'm zoomed in too close. Look at the mount. This is like 1.5 inches. What would they put? This is like a jackhammer thing, you know. It would have to go onto a real industrial sized jackhammer. I mean, that's, wow, you know, that's 7 inches long, just about 4 inches wide. Joking. Why would they get rid of that? This weighs, honestly, it weighs about 3 kilos. Obviously, it's going to be steel. It's not going to be aluminium or anything. Yeah, and it must be some kind of high tensile steel or something, because it doesn't look like a cutter. It's sort of like a scooper, it gets into the concrete and lifts it up or something like that. I'm not really sure what they would use this shape for, because it's not like a blade. It's more like a, you know, like a spoon in a way. But that bar, this has to be pretty expensive, because just in the weight and the, wow. Wow, I don't think I'm going to have any tools to that's going to suit that. This is obviously industrial sized jackhammer, because that's 1.5 inches bar there. It's not going to, no conventional tool is going to handle that. So that is an interesting piece there. Wow. Oh, and it's only going to get better. I can't wait for those 2 orange boxes down on the ground. There's another box. That's pretty heavy as well. Oh gosh, I'm spoilt here. Oh wow. Oh my God. Oh no, this is a little bit too good. Why would they? Well, why would they get rid of that though? What's this? This is like a chuck. Oh, that's a beautiful chuck. Wow, this is beyond my use. It's a Zito, so it's an oak, you know, it's not like the, you know, it's a rotary hammer drill. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's such beautiful condition. It hardly looks even used. I don't think it's even been used, because it's still got like oil on it that looks like manufacturing, you know, factory oil, unless, you know, it's just been well lubricated. But yeah. I'd have to go through. So it's a rotary hammer drill, you know. Okay, it's a Zito. So a Zito is entry level tools, so certainly nothing it's going to be anything really overly expensive, but I don't think they're cheap as they are anyway, even if you do get a entry level. Okay, let's see if it works. Oh wow, this is I think this is pretty much virtually brand new. Might have only been used once or twice. I do not know how it spins, how it works, or what. Wow, a rotary hammer drill. Well, I'd have to look up on YouTube to see if I could operate one of these, or how to operate it, because I don't even know how it actually works. Something goes on in there. Wow. It was an RHG 550K. So it's an 850 watt. I mean, made in China. So it's certainly no Metabo. But wow, I did not expect. What's this? Oh wow. Oh, okay, so it has been used. This has had a bit of use. You know, some concrete drills, a concrete chisel, you know. I think I'll actually get some good use out of this, like renovating a house, digging up the tiles and stuff like that. Wow. Oh, I feel spoilt. I feel like a bit guilty for getting this, you know, in context with everything else. And he's such a nice guy, and you know, always has a nice chat, and you know, I'm gonna have to drop off a few beers for him or something. But and then ask him how to put this back in the box. I have to go back in the video and see how it looked when I first opened it up. Okay, I think that's it. Jeez. Yeah, I really do feel guilty about this one, because you know, he could have easily given this to one of his workers or anyone, or sold it on eBay, you know, gotten something for it. So because it's a good tool that I can, you know, it's one tool that I don't have to buy for myself. But certainly that big jackhammer spoon wouldn't be for that. I can't see how it would be, but you never know. I'm going to have to look this up. Wow, I'm a bit lost for words there. I don't really know what to say about that one. You know, we've gone through a lot of tools, but I want to speed up the video, but geez. What do we got here? Handy cut. Oh gosh, you're joking. It's just a little, you know, like a little saw cutter. Wow, that's cool. Oh, it's even got a new blade, you know, and I know that these blades, they cost a bit. There's another one here, wood metal. Wow, it's looks like it's got all the bits. Gosh, it's like I've picked up from a hardware store or something like that, you know. I don't know. Wow. Magnesium. This is all magnesium. Interesting. It works. So, you know, it doesn't sound like a good, you know, like an expensive brand, but I tell you what, it feels really nice. The motor feels really nice. Smooth as. Wow. Oh, I'm just spoiled. Wow, what a pickup. Goodness me. And I haven't even opened up the two things that I think are going to be really great. Okay, well, yeah, as I keep saying, I'm spoiled here. It's just way too much, too many things that are just so much better than scrap value. You know, he did mention that, you know, a lot of the stuff isn't just for scrapping out and recycling. He said there's a lot of good stuff that he hasn't got time to go through and you know, see if they work or whatnot. And I think he was just being a bit generous. And yeah, amazing. I'll probably I've got to drop off those 3 bins when I empty them out, so I'll do that tomorrow morning. And I think I'm going to drop him off a nice bottle of whiskey. You know, the least I can do, because, you know, I pick up from him every 4 or 5 months. You know, or probably every 4 months. I reckon I do about 3 pickups a year from him. You know, sometimes it's just, you know, a fridge and a couple of TVs and a microwave and a vacuum cleaner. And other times, you know, I remember the first couple of pickups that I did, you know, I got some really amazing stuff and just interesting stuff to even just scrap out, let alone to reuse. But yeah, this one is by far the most interesting pickup I've done for quite a while. That's not IT related. It's just, you know, so I want to get this off the bench, this massive saw. I can't remember what they're called, but I've got another one there. But this one is huge. Wow. Jeez. It's even got a really long cable. Well, I certainly don't have one of these in the workshop. And look, I'm not a really good power tool user, you know. I'm not a, you know, like a, you know, the handyman type really. So I don't get to use tools like this very often. And I don't even know how this lifts up. But it's obviously, it spins around. You got, you know, measurements there, and you know, I mean, things like this doesn't take long to learn how to use. You just, you know, these days you just look on YouTube and it's obviously locked down somehow. But, and what is it? It's don't know what model or brand it is. DW703XE. Might be a DeWalt, I think. We'll plug it in. All I need to see if that blade actually spins. I wish I could open it up and just Okay, well the blade is very wobbly. I'm not sure if what I've done, so I'm only just going to give it a little jolt, a little spin, because yeah, the blade looks like it's got to be adjusted. It's a bit wobbly in there. Well, it works. You know, I've seen these, you know, in a hardware store, and you know, it's just one of those things that it's, I don't use these things often enough to justify buying one, because they do cost a few $100s. But you know, it's even got like mount holes here where you can bolt it down onto your bench. So you know, this is when I get my country property, I'll set this up in my new workshop, and you know, it'll be a beautiful addition, you know, and it's just one thing I don't have to buy myself. But yeah, I'm kind of, because I've got so many great things, you know, I can't believe those last couple of things that I've got, you know, even that jackhammer thing, just mind-blowing. Well, you know, talk about interesting pickups. This is about as interesting as I'll ever get a pickup, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll definitely keep this one. Okay, so this is a Ryobi, more my style, what I'm used to seeing anyway. It's a 60-tooth blade. It's a pretty good blade on it. It's a bit rusty, 9 1/4 inch. Go. Well, this one's pretty old, so I don't know if this is going to work. But obviously it's a lot different to the last one. This is more of a big handheld one. I mean, it's pretty big for a handheld, if it is handheld. Well, I'll tell you what, the motor feels really tight in it. It's a Ryobi, so not a bad brand, but the motor still feels really tight. I've had, you know, it's a bit dirty, a bit rusty, but I think it's still going to be a good one just for the workshop, you know, another thing that I don't have to buy. I mean, it seems like I want everything, and it seems like I don't have any tools at all. I do have, you know, tools that I need, but yeah, because I don't use a lot, I don't bother buying stuff. I'd rather, you know, see if if I need a tool, I either get someone to do it for me or borrow a tool, you know. But so far I haven't found an item to many items to actually scrap out yet. Here's something in a nice little wooden box with little nice handles. I don't know what this is. Okay. What is that? Okay. So it doesn't say what it is. It's a Makita. So Japanese made. It's going to be a good quality, but I don't know what it is. Okay. This might tell me. It is, it's a router. Well, I do eWaste, and as you know, I do a lot of IT equipment, and what we call routers are completely different than what a carpenter calls a router. So this is obviously, they've had a dedicated box for their router. They've got the tools, little screws. So, once again, I don't think it's not going to work. Not that I have any idea how to use this, and I'll probably never will. Oh, wow. Wow. It just, the motor in this is so smooth. It just feels so tight. This is in, you know, this is a perfect condition one. I'll check it out. 3620. See if it's, you know, I'll keep it, but it might be something just worth just selling, because I don't, you know, I'm not that skilled to be able to use a router in any timber work, you know, and so yeah, this might be one of those things that I might sell. Wow. Surely there isn't more, but there is. Well, we've got a few older power tools here. Now, these three kind of identical. They say it says like a screwdriver or something. Again, Makita's, so, you know, good quality brands, but I don't know how, and I can see it looks like kind of like a Phillips thread, a screwdriver in there, but I don't really know how these would work. I mean, check that out, that's very bizarre. This one here looks like an older one, okay, but I still don't know how that would work. Well, it sounds in really nice condition, but how does it work? I'll try this one, see if it's any different. I've never seen these. Well, it's the motor's working, everything's spinning, but I don't see how this is working. Anyone knows how these work? Let us know in the comments. I mean, I can see there's like a Phillips head screw bit in there, but how does anything get to it? These are unusual. Like it just says Makita screwdriver, so I don't know how they actually work. Oh well, these are three very unusual, interesting items. Obviously, if I can't even work out how it would possibly work, then I'm probably not going to get much value out of it. Well, myself anyway. But I'll just keep these until someone can tell me what this is all about. It just looks really unusual, and what they use these for. You know, obviously these guys are predominantly carpenters, but I just can't understand how this actually works when it doesn't kind of spin. The motor works, unless the gear's something wrong, or I don't know. So let us know if you know what these screwdrivers are used for, and whether they would be useful for anyone. Another interesting thing was this thing here. This is all brass. It's on a long rod, and then we've got a brass handle on the end here. This part here is all steel, just looks like brass, but it's obviously a door lock. It slides into the floor, and so this is mounted to the base of the door, and obviously this is the handle, what you know, so I can't remember what they're called, but that part goes into the floor and it just gives it a lock. So it's a very interesting, ornate, vintage kind of piece, you know, very antique-y. So once I work out what they're actually called, I might even list this on eBay, or just keep it as a vintage collectible. I've got these two boxes here that they're very dusty. Oh, mini basin mixer. Oh, okay. Gosh. Okay. So that's pretty weird. See, nice braided lines. Oh yeah, hot and cold. Okay, so they're just, oh yeah, it's got hot and cold. Hot, cold. Oh, beautiful. Again, something that I'll just keep. It looks like a smaller one here. Oh, it's actually bigger. Wow. Hot and cold again. Okay, so they're brand new. It's got everything there. Wow. Oh, these will come in handy. You know, they're not cheap to buy. You know, put one in the laundry and one in the kitchen or something. So again, it's not something I'm going to sell. I'm just going to keep these in case I actually need it myself. Wow, the pickup is just getting more and more crazy as I go. All right, well, more good items. Phew. Wow. So I got those industrial lights. So I've got 5 of the smaller ones and 2 of these really heavy duty ones. But my favorite part about them is that they're all individually powered. So that's really good. You can set up temporary lighting. So the last items, aside from those really nice vents, I mean those vents alone, you know, these vents alone, brand new, they're 500 by 500 mil. Or 50 by 50 centimeters. So yeah, they awesome, and they're sealed kind of. They don't open and close, and yeah, it's like a ventilation system, but you can't actually see through it. So you know, it gives you ultimate privacy, but yeah, it's just got ventilation holes. So they're awesome as well. I've got that bag of cable, and then yeah, I've still got to go through all these bins. So the last thing is those orange boxes. So let's check them out. Get rid of that. Oh wow! I've got a feeling I know what these kind of things are, but whether they're in any good condition is another thing. So let me just zoom in a little bit here. Okay, box 1. This is the roughest looking box. So, you ready for this? Oh, okay. Okay, they're like dyno drills. I'd imagine they're going to be drill bits. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so they look like they've had some use, but it's a ram set, dyno drill model 342. So it's a rotary hammer again. Wow. Oh, I want to see if this one works. Oh yeah. It's actually, you can feel that it's you know, it's been well used, but the motor still feels really quite tight. You know, not as tight as some of those things that I've tested out, but it does feel good, because I've even picked up a really big one off the same guy a couple of years ago, and the motor was really shonky and it didn't really work that good. But this one, amazing. Well, you know, these are still going to be good for actual practical use, and you know, wow. And probably if the other box has got one of these as well, you know, I might be able to even sell one of these. And but it looks like we've got all different kinds of bits. Wow. Massive concrete screwdriver. This one looks like it's been used quite a bit, but you can see why. It's good size, you know. So even a big dyno bolt, and that's my idea of using these kind of things. Like, you want to drill a hole into the concrete and then hit in the dyno bolts when you want to secure stuff and put locking systems into the concrete. It's a pointy one. Oh, just these accessories alone are worth really good money. There's another concrete screwdriver. Right, two really handy chisels. Wow. More screwdrivers, concrete, even a really small concrete. There's a big chuck. It's another type of chuck for probably different fittings. And this one as well, a really big one. Wow. Wow. And these things, what's in here? More chisels. These ones have been reasonably well used, but still handy. You know, imagine what, you know, just the chisels alone cost, you know, 30, 40 bucks each. You know, all these pieces in here, you know, that's probably another 30, 40 bucks. You know, some of these drills, okay, they've probably had some use, but they're still good enough to use. It all adds up. This one's, oh wow, look at that. Concrete drill. That's awesome. And, you know, they keep putting it, you know, they've put it back into that. So this is a Carbide Percussion Bit. Okay, so it's carbide. So they keep putting it back into this tube, so they must value it themselves, you know. It's just a little empty cavity. Goodness me. Oh, if the second one works, well, I've got a sale item anyway. And all I'll do is I'll just I'll sell one and sell them with a range of different bits, but I'll keep all the best bits for myself. Wow, feels about the same weight. Yep. Jeez, man, can't get over it. The amazing stuff. We've got some serious value here, dollar-wise, as well as being interesting. Okay. This one sounds a little bit rougher. Might need a good service, that one. Some rubber grommets or something in there. So yeah, but so I probably wouldn't, model 342, I probably wouldn't, you know, because it sounds a little bit rougher, I don't think, you know, I'd sell either one, but I might just try and use the rough one to practice on, and when I'm doing really, you know, crappy jobs, and preserve the better one. But again, we've got a big range of, there's nice small ones. Yeah. Oh wow, that's brand new. So we've got some really beautiful drill bits here too. Wow. You name it. Ah, that's handy. Even got a old cold chisel. This will be a really good one. Yep. Oh, you name it, it's there. Heaps. Awesome. How's that, guys? Is that one of the most amazing tool pickups you've seen for a while? I can't get over it. That's insane. Can't get over that. Gosh. And this is just an old box, but it's oh yeah, it won't fit the other ones. It's for a different model. So this is for the model 324. That's 342. They're both 342s. But so this one's a bit rough, but it might still be good enough to use for a while. And this one here looks awesome. Well, that's it, guys. Hope that was a bit of fun for you. Interesting e-waste items, and I certainly hope I get a lot more of these kind of videos done for you, because wow, it's just awesome picking up really interesting items, and just having so much fun just going through and having a look, and finding a lot of bits to keep and some bits maybe to sell. But everything is just so useful that, you know, I'm just about going to keep everything here. And just it was an unexpected pickup. He called me first thing in the morning, and I was already had my van filled with scrap steel and stuff, so I had to go to the scrapyard first, unload, then stop off at his place and pick up this stuff. And wow, big surprise bringing it all back. Like, even when I'm picking it up, it's all in boxes. I'm not looking inside it, you know, I'm just throwing it all into the van and say, okay, thanks for that. Don't even realize what I'm actually picking up, you know. And it's only when I got here and looking through everything at the same time you guys are looking through everything, and you know, we're finding, you know, stuff that is just amazing. You know, some of those things in boxes were just amazing. Even that big jackhammer's blade, if anyone knows what that's used for, let us know. Anyone knows what those screwdrivers are used for, let us know. But oh well, guys, back to regular scrapping. I'd imagine the next stuff I'm going to pick up is probably just going to be plain old computers and stuff like that as usual. So yeah, really glad I got this pickup today and got to show you what it was all about. So keep scrapping, guys, have fun, and I'll catch you next time.